Well, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. If you probably can guess right about now, of course, TNA, as you know, are still coming off after, of course, Rebellion. If you can guess right about now, Joe Hendry, as you know, has been getting his hands full, not only dealing with Dark State, but also with Trick Williams. But unexpectedly, we saw the appearance of Robert Stone. Apparently, he is now saying that he is going to run TNA, which is going to cause major problems. So we'll see how things will roll out from here on out. And then, of course, we have Ring of Honor featuring several matches. Mina Shirakawa is in action taking on Leila Grey. We have MXM Collection along with Johnny TV also in action. We have the ROH Women's World Television title on the line. Red Velvet defends the championship against La Catalina, and for our main event, we have the Frat House, Cole Carter and Griff Garrison taking on the Spanish Announce Project. So we'll see how things will roll up from A to Z on to Ring of Honor. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing three other events from two different promotions. Well, the first one is from the Kenta Kobashi's Fortune Dream number 10. If you guys are not familiarized, this is an event that has been posted by, of course, Kenta Kobashi ever since retiring. That happens every once a year. So we are now in the 10th year so far. But this one features, of course, Meiko Satomura teaming up with the warrior goddess herself, Sareee, and of course they take on Team 200 kilograms. So we're gonna go through that, and then we have two back-to-back events from ChocoPro. Number 453, which features, of course, the main event, the Asian Dream Tag Team belts. Bellflower, as you know, our newly crowned champions, defend them against the rookies. And then we have, of course, from ChocoPro, number 444. This one features, of course, Sayaka Obihiro's 15th anniversary as a pro wrestler, which is going to be fun. She teams up once again with Chiko Shikawa, and they take on one of the best tag teams in ChocoPro, Best Bros. So we'll see how that rolls up. And then, as always, we'll cap up our episode with, of course, some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. And of course, adding into the news updates, we're also doing a different type of update. As you all know, Mayu Iwatani is now officially with, of course, with MARIGOLD. More information is coming up, and more goals have been presented. But however, certain people are happy to see that she is MARIGOLD. We'll get to that too. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on our subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button, or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. Let's get cracking. So, let's begin, of course, with Kenta Kobashi's Fortune Dream 10. All right, Fortune Dream 10. Now, if anybody who's new to this channel is not familiarized with this event, let me explain it. It's not a promotion. This is a event that happens once a year, and this was established by Japanese wrestling legend Kenta Kobashi. Now, those who know who he is, Kenta Kobashi has been well recognized in the Japanese wrestling scene, been with many promotions like All Japan, possibly New Japan, and wherever he goes. Now, he does this event every year, brings in wrestlers from other promotions or possibly the freelancers, and of course, many of the Yoshi wrestlers as well. So, this is only an event that happens once a year. It doesn't happen every single time, but they do announce who's going to be participating. And I mentioned before, Meiko Satomura is amongst them. As you all know, she recently retired on the 29th of April. This event took place on the 16th of April. Wasn't broadcast until a little later, and it happened at Corkin Hall, in case anybody wants that information. So, uh, as always, when the show starts, Kenta Kobashi himself makes his way to the ring, greets the fans, and I'm for sure he's telling them that there's going to be some amazing matches and that sort of thing. So we'll see how that rolls. But let's get started with the first match starting this event. We have Daiki Odashima. He takes on, of course, a wrestling legend and one of the pillars of All Japan Pro Wrestling from the 90s, Jun Akiyama. Now, of course, those who probably ask, who is Daiki Odashima? Well, he is still a young boy. He's still on the learning curve. I recently saw him, I believe, in Noah, I believe, and pretty much it. But yeah, he's a very solid wrestler, but he's not there yet in the peak of his career that we should expect. Not yet, but he's facing someone who's a veteran in the game. But Akiyama was able to defeat him by applying the Uranagi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have a mixed tag team match. We have, coming from Stardom, Lady C teams up with Shuji Ishikawa. They take on Masato Tanaka and, of course, Unagi Sayaka. So, as you probably know, Masato Tanaka and Unagi have been teaming up on various occasions. They even fought each other before in the past. But of course, Tanaka always had great respect for Unagi, who, as you probably know, Unagi recently fought against Min 2, and she actually stood up. I mean, don't forget her biggest match was against Murder Grandpa, but anyway, that's one of the things. However, how would this match progress? I'm not sure, because I feel like with Masato Tanaka and Unagi, they have been teaming up very well. Lady C and Ishikawa, that's a very different story. I mean, I feel like they just were added in there. But, however, it was Masato Tanaka who picked up the win when he applied the sliding D onto Lady C, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Tanaka and Unagi picked up the win. Next up, we have tag team action. We have Andy Wu teaming up with Quiet Storm. They take on Yukio Naya from DDT, and coming from Pro Wrestling Noah and one half of the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Junta Miyawaki. So it's kind of interesting to see someone from DDT and Noah team up against a team that shows up from other promotions. I wasn't too sure where this is going to go, but it was, what's his name? Yukio Naya, who actually picked up the win when he applied a backdrop suplex onto Andy Wu, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have, what's their name? Oh yeah, we have an interesting 6-man tag match. We have Soi Daimonji, Sugutaka Sato, and Masa Kitamiya. They take on Mitsuya Nagai, I don't know who he is, Takashi Sugiura, and of course Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki. So you probably can guess how things are going to go. I mean, there's going to be a lot of back and forth, especially who has the bigger cojones in this one. But however, this match ended with, of course, Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki, when he applied the Gotch style pie driver onto what's his name, on Sato, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now our main event, we have Team 200 kilogram, consistent of you and Big Hash herself, Chihiro Hashimoto. They take on Sareee, or as we knew her in NXT, Sareee, teaming up with the final boss, Meiko Satomura. Now this match was before she retired on the final match on the 29th of April. So you probably can guess. Now, many of you probably would think that this match was going to end with Meiko Satomura pick up the win before her final match. Well, I mean, many people would have assumed that was going to be the case. But man, when it comes to 200 kilograms, they are a team that you don't want to be in. Like, you know, it's going to be difficult to face because they're big women, they're strong, they're powerhouses. How do you defeat that? I know Sareee had her time taking on, of course, Hashimoto, but she was able to succeed. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case here because, unfortunately, Meiko Satomura ended up on the wrong side of the last ride by Hashimoto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Team 200 kilogram picked up the win, all thanks to Big Hash herself. And of course, it's a very emotional moment because this was, of course, her last participation in this event. And then, of course, from there on, that's when she'll make her retirement. We'll get to that in a while. I'm still trying to catch up a bit. But for now, we'll end things here and move on, of course, with our next review. And I believe this is ChocoPro number 443. Okay, Choco Pro number 443. Now, this originally happened on the 26th of April in Ichigaya Square, but it was not uploaded on their YouTube channel until the following day on April 27th. Now, as always, we have Mei Shiruga opening up the show, greeting the fans, and of course, doing her little performance number she normally does on the big shows. She used to do this before that due to the fact that, she was working on it. So she wanted to get the fans warmed up, get ready for the entire show, and it was a lot of fun. Now, however, the first match was in fact a three-way. We have Chiko Shikawa versus Miya Tsuba versus Balin Aki. Now, you probably can guess that there's a certain level of experience of wrestlers. You look at Balin Aki, who has more of the experience, then Chi, and then of course Miya. But how this will play out, I mean, three ways can go either way. I mean, you probably wouldn't expect. But there is a factor you can do. You have to get rid of one so you can focus on the other. And of course, Chi was smart enough to get rid of Balinaki and toss him outside so she can focus on Miya, and she was successful by pinning her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, well, this one I have to say, I've always enjoyed watch her because she's like the cutest little girl ever who likes to have fun, and she's a bit of a rascal in my opinion. We're talking about Kaho Hiromi taking on, of course, the queen herself, Emi Sakura. Now, of course, these two ladies have been going back and forth. If it's either in tag teams or in singles, it doesn't matter. But you know how Kaho is. She's a bit more childish. She likes to play little games. And Emi's the kind of person, I'm not here to play little games, little girl. That's always been the case. But unfortunately, I don't know for sure if I saw this correctly. I did not expect Emi Sakura to win by using someone else's move. She used Mei Shiruga's move. I don't know what prompted her to do it, but she did it. Normally she does the Queen Gambit or something else, but yeah, she was able to succeed by using Mei Shiruga's move, which is like you just you're like on top of them, and then you just flip over up to like a position where they're on their back, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now our main event is for the Asian Dream Tag Team belts. We have the challengers, Hiroi Iwata, who will be making her first attempt. she teams up with Nonaka Seto and also making her first attempt. They take on Bellflowers, consisting of Sayaka and Makoto. Now, of course, neither, of course, Hiroyi and, of course, Nonaka have the experience that they should, but they volunteer to be their challengers, which possibly you would think they probably wouldn't have enough. I mean, you look at Sayaka and Makoto, they have the most experience out of the other two. That kind of explains that most likely it was going to fall in their favor. But it was Sayaka who picked up the win when she applied the Northern Light suplex on Hiroyi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, for our Junkin tournament, which was, of course, very interesting, I wasn't too sure how this was going to go. But the last two who made it all the way to the final was Kaho and Hiroyi. I wasn't too sure who was going to win, but it was Kaho who picked up the win, and just like that, it was over. It was a pretty good show. I have to say, I enjoyed it. I'm sure we're going to be expecting more matches. But right now, we'll leave this as it is and move on to the other ChocoPro event, which is number 444, which is, of course, the 15th anniversary of Obi. Okay, so we continue with more with ChocoPro, this time with number 444. This is, of course, took place on the 29th of April, but was not uploaded until their YouTube channel on the 30th. And this is, of course, Sayaka Obihiro's 15th anniversary. For those who don't know, they like to celebrate their anniversaries in this matter. But Obi will be part, of course, in the main event, teaming up with Chi. We'll get to that. Now, the opening, as usual, we have someone to open it. Now, we have seen, of course, Balin Aki, we have seen Emi Sakura, Mei Shiruga, Chiko Shikawa, Irikane, but there was this one girl, I don't know who she is, but recently she's been like a helper, filled in the moments where someone had to leave and she'll step in for Jonkin. She recently was one of the referees in the previous Choco Pro event that I just recently, reviewed. I don't know who she was, but of course she did a good job, try to get the fans going, greeting them, giving them the info of the entire show's event. So that sort of thing. So I don't know her name. I just put a question mark because I don't know who she is. So anyway, our first match, we have six woman tag team match. Kaho Hiromi teams up with Miya Yatsuba and Tokiko Kihara. They take on Mochi Natsumi. Who else? Oh, Emi Sakura and of course Sayaka, which of course is interesting because we have Mochi Natsumi, who many of you don't know, she is a very well experienced wrestler, not to mention a former student of Emi Sakura. Sayaka, of course, one half of the tag team champions with Makoto, who was not present, but teaming up with the much stronger duo. But of course, you probably would say there's going to be some interesting moments. Now, of course, the X factor of this match, many of you would think, Kaho, who is in fact is the least experienced in this match, most likely will take the fall. I mean, that would have been the actual case here, but however, that wasn't. Sayaka was able to pick up the win by pinning Tokiko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. So that's a pretty good opener, not gonna lie. Next up, we have Hiroyi Yawata in a singles match against Hagane Shino. Now, I don't know for sure. This is, of course, a good experience for Hiroyi because Hagane Shino is a veteran wrestler. He knows exactly what to do. Not to mention, he's a dude. I mean, I don't know how much experience that she has when it comes to facing men in the ring. But, however, she was able to hold on as long as possible until Hagane was able to put him away when he applied a chokehold, and just like that, she had no choice but to tap out. Hagane Shino picked up the win. Now, our main event, we have Chiko Shikawa teaming up with her tag partner, Sayaka Obihiro, or as we call her, Obi. They take on the Best Pros. A very interesting tag match because, of course, we have seen the Best Pro as being one of the best tag teams in Choco Pro. Each of them actually, well, Balinaki, a former Super Asia champion, Mei Shiruga, current Super Agent champion. But I think this also could put up an opportunity for Chi or Obi to pin May due to the fact that she is the Super Agent champion. But that wasn't the case on this one because it was great teamwork between both Valinaki and Mai Shruga. They were able to pick up the win onto Obi when they applied, of course, the Dolphin Press, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now for a Junkin tournament, well, I can tell you, I was surprised who actually won, and this was like two back-to-back ones in some capacity. Kaho picked up the win when she defeated Emi Sakura, so I was like, whoa. She may not have beat her, but she was able to beat her in Junkin tournament. I'm sure Emi was not happy with it, but nonetheless, of course, at the post show, they all celebrated Obi's anniversary, which they said gave her some cake, and not to mention she gave a speech, which normally happens all the time. So yeah, celebrating 15 years is a good accomplishment for her. So we'll see what happens for next year. But for now, we'll end things with ChocoPro. Move on with TNA. Right, TNA. It opened up, of course, with Joe Hendry. As you know, he is still our TNA World Champion after defending his championship in Rebellion. As you probably know, we are coming off from Rebellion this past weekend. Now, of course, there are two things, well, three few things. One, Joe Hendry's birthday, and of course, everybody celebrated with him, singing happy birthday. However, there are two things in Joe Hendry's mind. One is, of course, his recent attack this past Tuesday on NXT with Darkstage, so he will be dealing with them soon enough. But the other thing he has to deal with is Trick Williams, as you probably know. He still has some unfinished business with them. But however, Trick Williams sent him a message to him that will be coming for him. So we'll see how that rolls out. Now, we did see, of course, the Rascals. Gia Miller conducts an interview congratulating them, along with Sean Wildman and Ace Austin winning the match against the System. However, Zachary Wentz was the lucky one who was able to pin Moose and get an opportunity of the X Division title, which he'll get real soon, but we'll get to that. Now, as you know, Santino Marella has been trying to keep peace between both Mance Warner and Sami Callihan. So, of course, there were still people that question, was this going to be the end of it? Well, it seems like it has, because, of course, Sami Callihan reminded him that they've been in one of the most brutal matches they've ever been in their entire career. So it seems like they were willing to shake hands, bury the hatchet, that sort of thing. And Santino feels comfortable that, well, that went well for him. So practically he's proud of himself that he was able to bring peace. Now, of course, we do see that our next match, which Mike Santana, as you know, he is coming off grave after defeating, of course, Mustafa Ali in Rebellion. However, he had to deal with a guy named Isaiah Moore. Well, I can tell you that this match finished with Mike Santana winning it when he applied the sit-down powerbomb on him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. However, the one thing that Mike Santana hasn't forgotten is his goal ever since returning to TNA is getting his hands on the TNA World title. So it seems now his primary focus is that title. So he'll be coming for him soon. So we'll see. Now, Steve Maclin was on his way to the ring to address his fans after having a successful defense against Eric Young. However, Eric Young, along with the rest of the Northern Armory, decided to attack him, beat him, and all that stuff. But you probably can guess that this war between Steve Maclin and Eric Young is going to escalate even further. But we'll see. Now, our next match is for the TNA X Division Championship. Zachary Wentz gets his opportunity to take on Moose. As you know, Moose has been defending the championship very well, despite the fact of his height and limit that he can do. But he was able to surprise people when he does certain moves. But you ask yourselves, of course the system will be watching, and that's always been the case. But unfortunately, Moose was able to pick up the win when he applied the spear, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Moose retained the championship. Just like that. Now, The latest report was coming that Tasha Steelz is out on injury after she got powerbombed through a table, all thanks to Mike Santana. But Gia Miller wanted to talk to Mustafa Ali about, of course, the aftermath from Rebellion, but he didn't seem like he was in the mood. John Skyler feels that Mustafa Ali is going to go on a rampage soon enough, but we'll see. Now, Cody Deaner comes out and addressed the fan base that his contract with, of course, with TNA is almost up, that he'll be leaving. However, Santino Marella decided to come and talk to him, telling him that I don't have any authority to, of course, to give him another contract, all this other stuff. But he did state it, he could extend his contract all the way to Under Siege. But he'll give him a match against Eddie Edwards. If he pulls it through, then he'll try to bring his name up into the next meeting and letting him know that they were willing to sign, to maybe hopefully sign him, keep signing him again. However, it appears that out of nowhere, Mr. Stone showed up. It appears that for whatever reason, he decided to tell Santino Marella that, of course, that he's under review. Basically, he is now saying overriding his rule on everything else. But however, for somewhat reason, Robert Stone decided to give his new companion, Victoria Crawford, many of you may know her as Alicia Fox, a chance of the Knockouts World title. So in a way, it's like this. For Santino, he says, wait a minute, why would you give her a title match? She hasn't won it. But apparently, Mr. Stone believes that TNA needs a better champion, a much better champion than Masha Slamovich. He thinks that maybe she's not worthy, but we'll get to that more about it. So I don't know what's going to happen from here on. But however, Santino decided to confront him along with Ariana Grace, who is the NXT liaison between TNA and NXT. But of course, Santino wanted to know what gave him the authority to, of course, to say that he's under review. According to Mr. Stone, he said that the higher ups, but he wanted to know who gave him the authority. He said he wouldn't do that. However, Tessa Blanchard, as you know, who believes that, of course, Santino is a joke, that he's not been doing his job right, he's now backing 100% to Mr. Stone. However, she was hoping to get another shot of the TNA Knockouts World title, but however, Robert Stone is trying to say that Crawford already has that, but he was willing to negotiate for the next one that she'll get. So the real question is, what does Robert Stone really try to do? What is his angle here? If he's trying to overthrow, what exactly is happening with Santino? What does this mean for his job? We don't know. We'll get to that hopefully next week. Now, we did see, of course, Chris Van Vliet. Many of you who know who he is. He's done many interviews with wrestlers, and he's also a wrestling fan. He has done wrestling, but mostly from backyards, that sort of thing. Now, our next match, we have Maggie Lee versus Jody Threat. Now, you can consider this payback for what Maggie Lee did this past Saturday weekend during Rebellion, making sure that Heather and Ash by Elegance retained the Knockouts World Tag Team belts. But Jody Threat got a little bit of payback by taking her out. 1, 2, 3, done. However, it seems like, of course, when Maggie Lee lost, they decided that it was Ash, Heather, and that little Chihuahua thought it was time for her to get a makeover. So we'll see how that goes. Now, of course, Indy Hartwell makes her appearance on the Impact Zone, addressing her fans while Gia Miller conducts the interview. So basically, we know now this is her goal, to be in TNA, so we'll see what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if she makes her way for the TNA Knockouts World title, and I think I will love to see that, and I think many of you too. Now, we do see Casey Navarro versus Leon Slater. As you probably can guess, these two men were in a brutal match. Now, there were those that believed that Leon Slater was the one who picked up the win at the Ultimate X match in Rebellion, but however, it was ruled out that it was Moose who picked up the win. But of course, that was going to happen. Now, Casey Navarro, as you know, he's not alone, so he had, of course, AJ Francis to be involved, but unfortunately, AJ Francis got caught with his hand in a cookie jar, and just like that, he was out. However, one of the best moments is, of course, Leon Slater was about to fly on the corner side of the ring. Well, Casey Navarro was actually moved out of the way, thinking that, of course, Leon Slater hurt himself, but he didn't. He was able to land on his feet, and of course, it didn't do any well until, of course, Leon Slater applied the Swanton 450, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. So we'll see where that goes. Now, Masha Slamovich, as you probably know, she is not happy with what just transpired. Giving a title shot to someone who didn't even earn it, who hasn't even done nothing in TNA. But however, she's not going to back down from it. So this match will take place in Under Siege. So we'll see where that goes. Our main event, we have, of course, the Meneth brothers, Nick and Ryan Meneth, teaming up with Frankie Kazarian to take on Joe Hendry and the Hardys. Now, of course, Joe Hendry, as you know, Frank Kazarian, as you know, he still has his sights set on the TNA World Title. He feels in his rightful mind that he was not the one who lost. It was Ethan Page, so he's still gunning for it. And the Hardys, I'm sure they're getting payback for losing the tag team belts this past Sunday in Rebellion. But however, of course, Trick Williams got involved, costing the match. But this allowed for Nick Meneth to apply the Danger Zone, and just like that, Nick Meneth pinned, what's his name? Jeff Hardy, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, you know perfectly well Joe Hendry will get his hands on Trick Williams, and as for the Hardys, we know they'll get the little payback against the Meneth brothers, so we'll see what happens from here on out. So we're officially done with TNA. Let's move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, our last review, Ring of Honor. Now this was a very short one from when I watched it. It was like less than an hour. I was expecting maybe an hour and a half or maybe hour 15, depending. But nonetheless, there was some pretty good matches. The first match features Leila Grey versus Mina Shirakawa. So yeah, it seems like Mina Shirakawa is now going to be making her presence known in, of course, in AEW, but also possibly making appearances in a Ring of Honor. Now, Leila Grey, as you know, she's been struggling about what's been going on with Top Flight, not to mention dealing with Rush and Andretti. Seems like after what happened this last time when they had that tornado tag match, maybe she may had enough with Top Flight. Who knows? But she has to focus on her match against Mina Shirakawa, who we all know she's a star in the making. She has, I remember how she was not that good until she has grown so much to become what she is. And not to mention bringing a lot of her energy into this match. And of course, you probably ask, how will she end this match? Well, there are many ways, either with the Mina Collection or the Mina Driver or the Mina Figure 4 Driver. Well, this time it was just a straight up Figure 4 leg lock, and just like that, it was over. So we don't know what storylines they'll put onto her, but we'll see how things will go. So this is a good start for her. We'll see how we go from there. Now, our next match, we have 6-man tag match. We have MXM Collection consisting of Mason Madden and, of course, Mansoor teaming up with Johnny TV once again to take on, what's his name, Rosario Grillo, the Russell brothers, Cameron and Allen. Nothing too special about this match, but of course these guys have been a thorn in the side of Dustin Rhodes, Sammy, and of course the Von Erichs. As you know, they've been causing nothing but problems. But however, this match doesn't shows anything what's going to happen. But it was MXM Collection and Johnny TV with the centerfold on one of the Russell brothers that picked up the victory. Just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our next match, this is for the ROH Women's World Television title. We have La Catalina making her attempt for this belt, taking on Red Velvet. Now, of course, there has been many people that have been considering coming for this belt that Red Velvet has. We haven't seen her that much defending it, but many people would have loved to see Catalina pick up the win. But however, Red Velvet, usually with her ways of cutting corners, has always been one of the pickup lines, but she was able to pick up the win by submitting her with the single leg crab hold, and just like that, Catalina had no choice but to tap. So that's how it ends there. Our next match, we have, of course, the Frat House, more specifically Cole Carter and Griff Garrison, and of course Jack Jameson and Preston Vance were right there by their side, taking on the Spanish announce project, Serpentico and Angelico. Now, it's no secret that these four men have come across each other. If you guys remember, Maria has been haunting Serpentico for a while, and they were able to overcome that. But now things have changed between both sides. So, of course, the one thing that's the X factor is Jack Jamison getting involved and allowing, of course, for Cole Carter to do the spiral DDT onto Serpentico, and just like that, it was over. However, of course, the Frat House wanted to make a name for themselves by, of course, sending a direct message to the locker room. But, however, it seems that someone has decided to put law and order into Ring of Honor, and that is, of course, our Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito came up to the rescue, took all four members of the Frat House out, and of course helped out Serpentico and Angelico. I wouldn't be surprised if Spanish Announce Project and Bandito will team up against the Frat House. That's something we could definitely see down the way. So we'll just wait and see what happens possibly next week. But as of right now, we are done with this. Let's move on with, of course, news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news updates. So as always, let's begin with upcoming events. As you probably know, this coming weekend we have, of course, GCW, I believe. We have the Crazy, Scary, Spooky, Hilarious taking place on the 3rd in LA. They announced Matt Tremont will take on the King of Strange Style, Aries. And then the following day, they'll make their way to Portland, Oregon for We Still Don't Trust You. They announced that Jordan Oliver will take on Randy Myers. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has announced another match for the Northern Rising event that will take place on the 10th of this month. We're going to have the battle of the best technical wrestling that we know. Jonathan Gresham will take on, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. That's going to be one hell of a match that I definitely don't want to miss out. Now, as you all know, we had the collaboration between both Prestige Wrestling, West Coast Pro, with the Conquer the World that will take place on the 15th of May. They announced Alpha Zoe will take on Evan Rivers, so that's going to be an interesting match. Now, 3 things have been announced for the upcoming Crockett Cup by the National Wrestling Alliance on the 17th of May. A new faction, I have no idea what they call. They call themselves TVMA, consisting of Tiffany Nieves, Miss Star, and Valentina Ross. So basically they'll be participating. A match has been announced called the Chain Match. Now, as I said before, I have not been keeping up what's been going on with the National Wrestling Alliance. It looks like the fixtures are broken up. I did not know that. So it appears there's going to be a match between them. Wrecking Ball Gursky will take on Jay Bradley, which that's going to be interesting. And another name has been added for the upcoming Crockett Cup tournament. The Country Gentleman. That's going to be interesting. Now, many of you may not know there's a promotion based out of Italy called the SAJ Wrestling. They announced Miyu Yamashita will be participating in their event on the 24th of May in Italy. She'll be in a 3-way match. Herself, Session Moth Martina, many of you may know her, a former Oedo Tai member, and of course a wrestler based out of the UK, and someone named Irene. So I don't know who she is. So it's great that Miyu is going to be going to other places like Italy. So yes, there is wrestling in Italy in case anybody asks. So that's pretty much it. Now for our developments here. Fightful Selects reports the former MLW World Heavyweight Champion Alex Kane, well, his contract with the company is almost up by next month. So basically, well, by the end of this month. So basically he'll be out. So sooner or later he'll be a free agent. It's still unclear what's going to happen. We don't know for sure if WWE has any interest in him or if AEW have an interest in him. That's the thing we don't know yet, but we'll see. As you all know, recently there's been reports about Josh Matthews. Many of you may have seen him in both WWE and TNA. Well, it appears now, since he was released from TNA, he's been spotted in the backstage area at in AEW, and it turns out he is now officially part of All Elite Wrestling. So, yeah. It was reported that Nikkita Lyons has been moved to WWE Evolve. I don't know if that's a good move for that, but I'm sure that could help her develop a little more. But we'll see. I can't wait to see when she'll make her. And final, Lucha Blog, a very interesting X account that normally uh, gives updates what's going on in the world of Mexican wrestling, more specifically Lucha Libre, has announced about what about Psycho Clown. As you all know, AAA has been purchased by WWE, and what about him? Well, it was revealed that Psycho Clown is currently a freelancer, and he's still on good terms with AAA. We don't know exactly if they have any interest of hiring him or putting him permanently. That is something we don't know. But we'll see how things will roll up. So I'll see what I can do to find more information about that. But as of right now, we're finished with our news updates. But let's do our last update regarding the icon Mayu Iwatani. Okay, now many of you already saw, of course, the recent news updates regarding the icon Mayu Iwatani. Now, Tokyo Sports report much clearer about her plans. And now she's joined with MARIGOLD since she left earlier this week with Stardom. Well, according to them, and this is what Tokyo Sports reports, that she is aiming for the GHC Women's Championship. Now, for those who are not familiarized with this belt, the GHC stands for Global Honor Crown, which is the governing body of Pro Wrestling Noah. For those who don't know the story about this belt, let me give you guys a little brief description. A couple years ago, back in 2023, Jungle Kiona made a very interesting statement that kind of sparked the interest of many people. She said if New Japan was going to have an IWGP Women's Championship, why can't Noah has the GHC Women's Championship? That sparked a lot of talk. Now, people were questioning when will this happen? We don't know because, of course, Noah has been paying attention what New Japan has been doing with the IWGP Women's Championship. So it's obvious that there are concerns of what if it doesn't attract. Well, they apparently made that decision, and the first and current champion is Kyoki Omori, who is currently on an injury. But sooner or later, she'll be making her return. We just don't know. But here's the thing about Mayu that she wants to do. She wants to be the first woman to hold both the GHC Women's Championship and the IWGP Women's Championship. So basically, two titles from two different promotions. Now, some of you may question, is that even possible? Yes, there have been wrestlers who, in fact, are triple Grand Slam winners for holding the top belts of three different promotions. That includes New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, Yuji Nagata is one of them. So is Satoshi Kojima. Let's see who else. Oh yeah, those who know him, Naomichi Marufuji. He is the first junior heavyweight competitor that held all three junior championships from all three promotions, despite the fact that he is now, of course, a heavyweight. So that is a possibility. But seeing a women's title, that is one of the things it could be accomplished with two. Some of you may question, will All Japan do something like that? I don't know, guys. We don't know if that's the direction. There's been a lot of back and forth what's been going on with All Japan. But yes, but this is one of Mayu's goals that she wants to do. But now it appears that she is going to call herself the Yoshi Peruso Icon. So basically, she will be called the Icon, but she's going to call herself the Yoshi Peruso Icon. So that's pretty much what it is. And this is what she had to say when it comes to the GHC title. No one has ever held both IWGP Women's and the GHC Women's title. I believe I have achieved many historical first and major accomplishments up till now, and I think it would be a waste not to aim for it. I'm not going to put it in my sights and aim for a grand slam. So basically, that's the idea. She wants to be the first, and I have to say, do it, girl. Don't hold back. But she also talks about MARIGOLD, how it reminds her of the early days of Stardom. If many of you who know this about her history, Mayu Iwatani at the time, before she left, was the last surviving member of the first generation of Stardom. So as you know, she was there from the promotion from day one. So it kind of brought her back from the old days when she started. So this is what she said about that. it put a lot of I put it in a positive way. I feel like homely place, but to put it in a negative way, it feels like an indie, and she laughs about that. It makes me feel nostalgic as someone who has experience in the majors. I am somewhat nervous but exciting about the idea of building something up from here. So basically, for those who know, Mayu in fact was from she was there from day one of the promotion, and now look how it has grown so much. And it feels like she's about to do the same thing again with MARIGOLD, which of course it wouldn't be a problem. But it's great for her that she feels like I'm back to in time where it all began for me, and now I'm get to see this place grow. So it's a good thing to hear that from her, you know. So she's treating this more as a positive energy for herself. Now, many wrestlers who in fact know about Mayu Iwatani, two people had some things to say, and one of them is our very first member of the first United National Champion, Miku Anu. She had this to say about her: bright, exciting news at for MARIGOLD. Personally, I'm feeling a mixture of emotions, including excitement for what's to come and sense of not wanting to let my guard down. Always, anyway, it's exciting. So she's happy to hear that the icon is now in MARIGOLD. So you probably ask yourself, this would be a perfect opportunity for Miku Ano to challenge someone like Mayu Iwatani. Because think about it, guys. Many people have tried to dethrone her, tried to say, I can beat the icon. It's very rare for her to lose some of the biggest matches. And Miku Ano is one of those people that is a force to be reckoned with, when it comes to that. So we probably could see a match between those two, but we'll see when that happens. But there's another person who, in fact, knows Mayu very well, but not entirely ever had a chance to face her in a singles match. And that is, of course, our current United National Champion, Mai Sakurai, who, of course, as you know, from last year, she used to be a member of Stardom. So this is what she had to say. Mayu-san, it's been a while. Actually, I had never fought in a singles match. I'm looking forward fighting Mayu Iwatani in this ring. I'm looking forward working with you again in the future. So it appears that, of course, much like any other wrestler, Mai Sakurai never had that opportunity to have a singles match with her, but it's a perfect opportunity for her to step up her game. I mean, we have seen Mai Sakurai grown up a lot, how she has evolved, and now she's about to show her skills when that day comes to Mayu, saying, I have grown up after all these years. Now let's see what we can do in the ring. So it's going to be a lot of interesting. I can't wait to see what Mayu can do in MARIGOLD. I'm sure a lot of people are speculating that she should be making her move to WWE now. No, so guys, we got to hold up on that because she still has a lot of things she has to do for MARIGOLD. Not to mention she wants to make it one of the best promotions. But I'll keep you guys apprised if there's anything new with Mayu. We do know her first match will take place, I believe, this coming Sunday against Nanane Takahashi, which is going to be an awesome match. So stay tuned for that. But as everything else on this particular episode, I say we are officially done with our reviews, our news updates, and the Mayu Iwatani update here as well. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do, but I was considering for the entire episode to do all the remaining MARIGOLD shows we haven't done yet. So I thought I should just put it under one swoop and just get it over with. Day 1, day 2, 3, and 4. So we'll see how things will roll up. If there's any other events I haven't decided, I'll do those as soon as possible. So we'll get through all of that. But as of right now, we are officially done. So I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.